Hi, my name is Kevin Thomas, W1DED, and this is Q5 Ham Radio. Every contester has imagined it, operating from the Caribbean with real rate, real multipliers, and nonstop activity. Not a vacation setup, a station built to compete. José KP3J built exactly that in Puerto Rico. It is the home of the La Sierra Contest Group. Now he's thinking about stewardship and what the next chapter looks like. Q5 is brought to you by DX Engineering, providing the antennas, amplifiers, and infrastructure serious operators rely on when performance matters most. Welcome to the show, José.
Oh, thank you, Kevin, for having me. Absolutely thrilled.
So I'm really excited to talk about your contest station there. But before we do, a little bit about your background. How long you been a ham radio operator?
So I've been a ham radio operator about 35 years. And, I was inactive about when I joined the U.S. Coast Guard. I was active duty for 27 years. About 20 years of those times, I was inactive. I was not doing ham radio at all. Back in 2020, when I received orders to Puerto Rico, that's when I started again. I was back home, and I wanted to retire within the five years. So I decided to buy a property that is in a great location for ham radio. They had enough land to do a contest station. And we have been developing that for the last 4 years. Over.
So I take it as soon as you got back into ham radio, contesting was your thing.
Absolutely. Before joining the Coast Guard, I used to do small contests back when I used to log on paper, and I used to build my own antennas with wires back in the 90s. But when I came back, I never had a Yagi before or operated with an amplifier. So this is the first time that was, I owned my first rig that was more than 100 watts and an amplifier that, gave me more than 100 watts.
So like I said, I'm excited to talk about your ham radio station, the contest station. But since you brought up Coast Guard, you've had an impressive career with the Coast Guard.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I joined the Coast Guard in 1997. I joined straight to OCS, became an officer and a cutterman. Developed my career as a surface officer or a cutterman. And in 2020, I was planning to retire, but then I got selected for promotion to captain to '06. And then I had the opportunity to come to Puerto Rico, to my homeland, as the sector commander, a deputy commander. And that I did that function for about 2 years, 2020 to 2022. And after that, I fleed up to the commander position from 22 to 2024, which I retire after that.
Well, very impressive. Thank you for sharing that with us. So let's talk about the station that is surrounding you. So you bought the property, you bought the home. It sounds like specifically to create a contest station.
With the help of a couple of good friends from my Bonito and Jaime, WP3A, and Eric, and P3A, we knew each other from we were in school together. And Jaime used to be from a town next to I Bonito, but he used to work in the hospital when my mom worked. She was an RN in ICU there, and that's how we met each other. And then ham radio was one of the things, hobbies that kind of build us together. So we stayed in touch throughout the years. But in 2020, when I returned to Puerto Rico, is when Jaime, being in St. Croix in Capitu Bravo station there, he was talking to me about doing a remote location here in Puerto Rico, so he'll be able to operate as KP4. So we did that. If you see behind me, that flex belongs to Jaime, and he has and a flex amplifier back there. And Eric, Jaime, Osvaldo KP3N, Manu WP4 Tango Zulu that you know very well, and also David EB Echo Bravo 7 DX from Spain. He also is part of the group.
So when you built the contest station, clearly with all the call signs you just mentioned, it wasn't just for you. You had always envisioned there was going to be a group of you and a contest club.
Having done the multi operator, I didn't realize how much fun it was. So we started doing that more often. 22, 23, 24. So we're, finding in every contest we learn something new. So we were trying to improve the contest station as best as we can. We had a GXP antenna, probably it's very popular from Poland. It was a 4-bander, 10, 15, 20, and 40 meters. But the tower that I had at the time was only 34 feet. So for 40 meters, it was not really good. That's when we decided to make bigger changes to the station. And I sold the GXP antenna. and then bought me a new tower, 80-footer, and it had and a 40-meter 2-element antenna that I was planning to install. That I haven't done that yet. But right now, the station is a little crippled. If I want to operate lower bands, I have to install wire dipoles that I do have 160 and 80 and 40 as well. But I have right now 2 3-banders that I operate from, the independent from each station. And over here, I think we're equipped to operate up to multi two operators at the same time with all the filters that we have on the station.
So just say, obviously, you've put a lot of time and attention and money into this station. Why are you thinking about selling it?
It is a personal decision. Our son is in the lower 48s, so we're planning to return to Virginia, which is we spent a lot of years in the Coast Guard. I was stationed there about 7 tours, so we raised our boys there in Virginia in the Hampton Roads area, and we have 2 properties over there. We actually returning to one of the houses there. So having 3 properties is a little too much, especially when you're so far away. And my wife and I gave it a try to be able to be here, but the maintenance on this house is it requires a lot of effort and money. If and now something that we don't have right now, especially in retirement. When you retire, you got to adjust to your expenses, and that's one of the things we're learning in that transition from active duty to civilian, that we have to adjust to our expenses and hobbies and all that. It was really important.
Jose, who do you think the ideal new owner or steward of the home and the contest station? What do you think that looks like? Do you think this is a club, a group of people that get together, or is it somebody looking for a primary residence in Puerto Rico? What do you think?
I think both. There's a lot of potential on having somebody stateside that owns the house and then maintains the station here. Local guys can probably help with that function of maintaining the station. Well, you have to be kind of afford the maintenance of it's 5 acres on the house, and also the property itself, because this house is located in 2,300 feet of elevation. That's above sea level. Almost every night it is foggy. So that fog is humidity that grows, into the house, the paint and all that. So it requires a little more maintenance than a normal house in the coast. The good thing about it is, like, we are about 10 to 12 degrees cooler all year round down the coast. If it's like 95 degrees, that feels like 150 sometimes on the coast. Here up in the mountains is probably 10 degrees cooler. So over here in the summer, it's probably like 82 Fahrenheit. It feels a little bit warmer because it's humidity, but the year-round temperature is great. Like this morning was 66 degrees outside, and it's still under 70 right now. So it's a very and going back to your question, somebody that retire and can stay here in Puerto Rico, it's a great location. Ay Bonito has its own hospital that is about 10 minutes away. And it's probably like to Costco, it's probably 30-minute drive. To a Walmart, probably 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes is the closest one. We have two options for Walmarts that are very close. And then other local supermarkets that are within 10 minutes. And the actual town of Ay Bonito with all the local government services and postal service and every other service that there is. It's within like 5-minute drive. So it's a great location for somebody that wants to make Puerto Rico their house or their home, or maintain it from the distance. Somebody with resources, they can have some local operators, help out with the maintenance of the station.
And how far is it from the San Juan Airport?
San Juan Airport is about 50 minutes, 50. And the great thing for people that don't know is Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory. And there's no passport requirement. You leave your car at the airport if you want. And if you're going to be gone for a week or two, and then come back and grab your car and return to the house, or pick up a taxi and just drive here or rent a car from the airport.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a huge plus. So you're at 2,300 feet. Give us a little bit better idea of geography. Do you have a clear path 360 degrees, or do you have some mountains in front of you?
We have mountains to the south. They're not completely block the station. However, Europe and then North America are completely clear, and to the east as well. So these expeditions in Africa that are going out right now, so I can't remember the J51 Alpha. It's super loud over here. Actually, it's pretty close. I've been able to work it on the first attempt from here, just pointing my antenna in the right direction. But it's clear path to Europe, North America, and Africa, basically. South America, I'm still hearing really well, but I do have a little bit of amount of activity to the south.
So let's now talk about infrastructure. You've got a beautiful home there. I think it's a 6-bedroom home, but I think I also noted that you've got a generator on site, which is an important thing for us contesters. Tell us more about the infrastructure itself before we get into the radio equipment.
Right. We had the house is a 2-story house. It has the stairs inside the home to go from the first story to the second story, and also have stairs outside. So if you decide there's doors on the stairs in the inside, so you can completely lock yourself, and that's what we do on contests. My wife, has her own house up there with master bedroom, and all the guys are all the operators, they come here in the first story. We have furniture, a kitchen, bathroom, facilities as well, and also the 4-car garage that we have is detached. That's also another rendezvous points for the folks to start troubleshooting equipment, or either running multiplying if they want to decide put a vertical antenna in the property and use it for multiplying. We've done that in the past. It works really well. So you kind of can stay away from the towers and minimize the noise to the QRM to the other folks operating. And the station is also equipped with a 30K Olympian generator. Olympian is like the Caterpillar version of the British version of the Caterpillar. And it's up to date. It takes maintenance every month. And it's operating really well. It has like 5 days of diesel tank on it that you can run uninterrupted for a while. In only one contest we have to use it. In the middle of the contest, like 5 in the morning, the power went out, and it took me like 2 minutes to go up there, shut the generator off, because I have a manual transfer switch. It's not automatic, but it works really well. And the water tank is 15,000 gallons of fresh water that is there in case Puerto Rico loses water and power often. And up here, because of the elevation, the pressure, the town gets water first, and then it goes up here. So we lose water a lot. So we have that power with a pump to pump that fresh water into the house. So we have power and water all the time. So it's great.
So let's move on to the equipment you have, beginning with the outside. I presume you're going to leave towers and antennas behind when you sell the property?
Right. If I sell the house to a ham, I'd be happy to leave the towers, with negotiated price, of course. One of the towers is 80 feet. That's the newest tower. That was the one I was just going to install that 40-meter antenna and the 80-meter. And that was brand new. It's 8 sections of run 45. Then we have another tower. There's a U.S. tower. It's only 34 feet, but it goes up with the mast. It's probably 40 feet. And in there I have a Momo Beam Tri-10 3-band antenna, 10, 15, and 20. And the other towers are RUM 25, and that's about 50 feet. But this other Tri-10 antenna, and it rotates independently from the other. So one operator can be easily operating, 10, 15, or 20, and the next one will be operating another band within those three. Very easy. So they can, point their antenna whatever direction they want. And that was the goal with the 40-meter antenna. However, we haven't got there yet.
One of the things I noticed in looking at the photos, there appeared to be even more space for another tower if somebody wanted to put one up.
Kevin, there's plenty of space for a tower. We got 5 acres. Also, we have in the front of the property, it's probably like a whole acre in there that you can put another 2 towers. And then in the back, there's plenty of space for towers or receiving antennas like a beverage, throwing down, because it's a good slope down there that you can put some antennas to receive.
So I know it's more and more popular to have remote access. And any of the stations I mentioned earlier, 8 Papa 5 Alpha, PJ2T, ZF1A, obviously, all have remote access. How many people are remoting into your contest station now, and how frequently?
We had a number of people from stateside in Argentina. We had an Argentina operator. And then we also have David from Spain as well, operating remotely from this station, from KP3J.
So the internet connection is pretty solid.
The internet company is actually owned by Felipe and P3A. It's
Nice.
called the
That's a nice connection.
VPNet.
Sort of a
So
high
it
priority
works,
then, right?
yeah, so it works with microwave, and when we have a problem, I call him directly. Hey, man, my internet is down, and he's pretty good at troubleshooting fairly quickly.
So Jose, I've got to believe that some of these guys you've mentioned, some that I know and that I've interviewed, that they might want to be part of this contest group with a new owner. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. They're open to it. So Eric, MP3A, he owns a great property overlooking the ocean in the North Coast, and he really has like a very privileged location. He only have a small shack, but it's a lot of potential. So I think the guys, even if the owner doesn't want to do anything with the local guys, they still the group I don't think is going to die. I think the group is going to continue. I'm planning to switch my the trustee of WP3Z, WP3 Zulu to Manu, so he can continue the group, and I will be able to have a home when I come back for contests. So just like you do, that you work, I travel to Turk and Caicos, so I can do that and go, visit my parents and my wife's parents, and then also go and go do contesting with the guys.
So if any of the listeners wanted to check your contest results on 3830, best place to go is WP3Z.
That's correct. I do some contests by myself on KP3J, but if you go to the WP3Z, which is not very updated, I need to get in there and update it a little bit. You're gonna see some of the certificates and all the contests that we, some records that we broken and all that. We got good competition locally with Alfredo and Felipe and some of the KP4 Alpha. They're great contests on this island, so it's a great place. Easy to come in and out from the lower 48s, and a great location for for logistics, especially when you bring a team and you don't need your passport. You just you can just postal service, Amazon, all the goodies there that you get at stateside that are available here.
If there's somebody listening right now that would like to inquire more about this, or a group of ham radar operators want to inquire, how would they get more information?
My email is on the QRZ website. They can just send me a note. I haven't decided on a selling price. I actually have met with my realtor on Saturday, and I thought I was going to have the way we are going to agree to an asking price. But I want to make this available to ham operators before it goes in the market. The house is not in the market yet, and the reason I want to do that first, I don't want to deal with towers, or paying more for my move from all this equipment. I'd rather sell it and make good use over here in Puerto Rico. So that's one of the reasons I want to offer it to the local out to the ham radio operator. That'll be my preference, so I don't have to put down all those towers. If I do, I'm gonna have to pay somebody to go up there. I don't click towers anymore. I'm just too old for that. So I'll pay somebody to take the towers down, and then I'll sell the equipment slowly, especially the stuff I can't take with me to Virginia. Kevin, I've been following you for a while. Thank you for the opportunity. And I was hoping to stay a little longer here and receive you as a guest operator with La Sierra Contest Group. But the time has come to me to say goodbye and then just move on.
Well, Jose, I really appreciate you taking time today to talk about this with me. I think it's the dream of almost every contester around the world to have their own remote station in a fantastic location. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of interest in this, at least from a dreamer standpoint. And who knows, there might be a group of ham radio operators that might want to combine their funds and do something with you. So thank you again for joining me this morning.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it.
My name is Kevin Thomas, W1DED. This is Q5 Ham Radio. I've been talking to Jose KP3J. He has a contest station available for purchase in Puerto Rico. Give him a call, 73.
Thank you, 73.